Jesus the Storyteller by Hodder and Stoughton Children's Books, illustrated by Fran Thatcher. Like all good teachers, Jesus was a great storyteller. He used stories to explain God's message to his disciples and the crowds of people who came to hear him. One day, when Jesus was teaching, a clever teacher of the Jewish law began to ask some awkward questions. He hoped to catch Jesus out. "Tell me," said the teacher, "how can I get to heaven and live forever?" "You know the scriptures as well as I do," replied Jesus. "What do they say about it?" "They tell me to love God with all my heart and my soul, and to love other people as I love myself," the teacher answered as quick as a flash. "Exactly," replied Jesus. "It's as simple as that. But," went on the teacher, "who are the people I should love?" Jesus answered him by telling a story. There was once a man who was traveling along the road from Jerusalem to Jericho when he was attacked by robbers. They beat him up and stole his money. Then they ran off, leaving him half dead on the roadside. Not long afterwards, a priest came along. He saw the injured man covered in blood. "There must be robbers about," he said to himself. "I'd better get out of here." Then he crossed to the other side of the road and hurried off. Soon he was out of sight. A little later, a Levite came walking by. His job was helping the priest in the temple, and he was busy thinking about everything he had to do in that day. He saw the injured man and went over to look. "I'm in a hurry," he thought to himself. "I just don't have the time to get involved with this problem. Anyway, the man is probably dead, and for all I know, the robbers may still be nearby. They might decide to attack me too." And the Levite hurried off without a backward look. It was afternoon before anyone else came past. This was a man from Samaria, a region whose citizens did not worship God in the same way as the Jewish people. The Samaritans were hated by many Jews. As soon as the Samaritan saw the injured man, he hurried over. The Samaritan then gently dragged the man into the shade of a tree and cleaned his wounds with wine. He rubbed the oil into the man's bruises and tore up his own clothes to make bandages. The Samaritan lifted the injured man onto his own donkey and took him up to the nearest inn. He sat up patient all night, nursing him. The following morning, the traveller was much better. The Samaritan went to the innkeeper. "I want you to look after this man," the Samaritan said. "Here are 2 silver coins. If you need to spend more than this before he is well enough to leave, I will pay you back when I pass by here again next week." "Now," said Jesus, "you tell me which of those 3 men treated the injured man most lovingly." "I suppose it was the Samaritan," replied the teacher grudgingly. He was annoyed by the story. He did not like having to admit that an enemy of the Jews might treat a stranger better than a Jewish priest or a Levite would. "The Samaritan showed real love," said Jesus. "He didn't worry whether this injured man was a Samaritan or Jew. He didn't worry that looking after the injured man would prevent him from doing whatever it was he had planned himself to do. He just saw someone who needed help and helped him. Now you go off and behave in the same way."